welcome to Throw Starfish. I'm Ruth.
I'm Penny.
And I'm Johnny.
And today we're going to be looking at meditation. So for any of you that have ever been interested in why you might want to sit in silence for between 5 to 15 minutes a day, this is definitely the podcast for you.
It's a bit of an odd subject though, isn't it? Meditation. I always imagine it to be hippie. Not that there's anything wrong with hippie and peace and love, but in terms of running a business.
Yeah, why should a business person be interested in sitting in silence?
Yeah, sitting in silence, doing noises with
chanting
with fingers in circles. But I was surprised to discover that actually it's not all like that. And there's a practice now called Mindfulness, which really takes away. It's the same as meditation, but it takes away some of those stigma. Yes, exactly. And I find that practicing mindfulness, when I do it, I'm not the most disciplined of people, but when I do it, it's absolutely incredible. If you've got one of those think boxes that never shuts up, that's always chucking out ideas, but you never finish anything, I think meditation in the form of mindfulness would really work for you. And there's lots of options out there, but we've all ended up using the same process.
Yeah, so the interesting thing, and one of the things that I think we should probably keep to the forefront of our minds when discussing this is, if you're sat there going, oh, I don't need meditation, or I don't need to do that, you probably are one of the people that definitely should be doing it. And that's one of the key things I think about. If I think, oh, my life's too busy, I can't fit it in,
oh, yes.
I can't meditate, you should be meditating, and you should be because you think you can't fit it in. So that's one of the things I think anyone that's listening to this podcast should be thinking if you're skeptical about this.
And there's no weird sitting or chanting or anything if that's not your thing.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that version of it if you wanted to, but I think there's always a strong connection between this idea of meditation and spirituality and the connection to certain ideals or ideologies and different elements that mean that people often think that they have to understand or know more.
Johnny has just chucked his pen across the table at me.
I was gesticulating and it just came off of my hand. I don't think it's drawn anything though.
Yeah, don't worry.
So it's that barrier that is a preconception that you actually have to understand a load of things and do a load of things or subscribe to kind of a certain ideology or a way of thinking in order to almost qualify for being allowed to do this. Whereas actually meditation, mindfulness on its most fundamental basic level can just be sitting quietly for a certain amount of time per day and just taking a moment in our constantly ever accelerating busyness of lives.
I'm going to sound very spiritual, but I actually started meditating when I was 9 years old. I used to belong to a youth theatre, and Penny's pulling faces at me. I used to belong to a youth theatre, and we used to warm up by doing yoga, and at the end of that we would take kind of 5 minutes laying on the floor, just listening to everything around us, and very much actually like Headspace. When I first listened to Headspace, I was like, this is what I've been missing. This is what I remember from my youth. Because from being about 9 through to about 18, twice a week, a whole group of us would lay on the floor and just listen. And that's essentially what meditating is. And very much some of the keys that, the key points that Andy takes you through is what our director would take us through. So for me, it was something I'd really, really missed.
And the face, everybody, was, if you've ever seen a photograph of Ruth as a child, that is such a cute little image of Ruth as a 9-year-old meditating. And the thing for me, I think, is I had never meditated. I had always been, that's for the Buddhists or for people in a particular group. And when it started coming out as mindfulness, I started to get really interested in it. One, because my background's in organisational development, and I actually couldn't see it translating into organisations. I thought it was just a little step too far out there. But as it's grown, and particularly with the development of things like Headspace and working that around stress management programs, I can see the benefit of it. And I love the fact that the narrative has changed and it is now more about taking time out just to be whether that be for a couple of minutes, that has a huge reset capacity.
Yeah, and I suppose as all of us use Headspace, we probably should talk a little bit about that, because I think if people want to start or they're interested in meditation or mindfulness, Headspace is a really good place to start. And I think it was, again, Johnny that recommended Headspace to me. And they do this really great trial for so many days where you
10
10 days where you can have a go and listen. So I remember I was going to a trustee meeting, and that morning I was kind of said, you do the opening bit, what do you want to do? And I was like, oh, I'm not really sure. And I actually did Headspace with this room of people, and I thought, oh no, am I going to get funny looks? Are people going to think, oh no, it's one of those people? And actually people loved it. I had better feedback than if I actually, do something more businessy or thoughtful. People really enjoyed starting the meeting off with 10 minutes of sitting there. And it was, for me, I always think it's a really good start to the day and just a really kind of calming, balancing way to kind of start your morning.
Yeah, I can't remember where I actually came across the Headspace app, but it's not one of those apps where you have to subscribe to it and then you get a free thing because you've put your cash credit card details in. You literally download the app and you get 10 meditation sessions that you can work through and have a go for 10 days if you're able to do it 10 consecutive days the first day you try. I certainly didn't. But it gives you an insight into it, and there's little explanation videos and animations in between that just introduce it a little bit at a time, but you're constantly having a go. And it means that you don't need to understand anything. You don't need to read up on anything. You're just meditating. And I found it so simple and straightforward to do. I have since bought the app. There's loads of different brilliant sections that you go on to once you've completed the first foundation levels. You can set those foundation levels to 10 minutes, 15 minutes or 20 minutes. So even if you've only got 10 minutes a day, you only need to find that 10 minutes a day in order to be able to do it in. And once you've worked through those foundation levels, there's then a series of sections in health, relationships and performance that you can actually do specific meditations that give you really great useful things on a daily basis to for the health one, there's kind of a series on depression, self-esteem, stress, anxiety, sleep, pregnancy. I've done the sleep one. It's really, really good.
Then there's some single ones as well, isn't there? So if you just want something on the go, so there's a really great SOS one which I've used a number of times. There's sleeping ones, there's ones for kids, fear of flying, walking, commuting, if you're going running, if you're cooking something, and they're just single ones you can put in at any point. So
it helps you integrate mindfulness into your day.
Yeah, and I think if anyone's interested, a great place to start is actually Andy's TED Talk that he did.
I've not seen that.
Yeah, it just explains a bit of the background, and he's a really fascinating guy. The things that he's done in his life and where this has come from is really interesting. But it's just worth having a look at that if it's something that interests you. But there are loads and loads of people I've come across who, when you talk about meditation, they go, oh, Headspace, and you're like, yes.
Yeah, I've found that loads of people have actually done it.
Yeah, to kind of introduce people, because I think there is that fear of sitting in silence and not really knowing what to do and how to do it and what is meditation. And I think Andy breaks it down and gives you really simple things to do and to think about or not think about, or to help you stop some of those thoughts that are coming into your head. And it's just a really clear step-by-step guide, and suddenly you realise, oh, I can do this for 20 minutes and I've not even realised.
See, I struggle with the 20 minutes, not the time. So there is a little bit of a knack to it, which I recommend that people do the first 10.
Yes.
And then not make the mistake of going, I am really into this, therefore because you can choose 10, 20 or 30 minute sessions.
I think it's
when
10,
you
15,
upgrade your pack.
20. Yeah, there's different variations.
And I thought, I am getting so much from this.
I'm gonna do it more.
I just want all of the minutes. And what I found was that my mind was wandering.
Yes.
Way more. So I've knocked it back down to 10.
I've always kept it 10. Apart from the odd times where I've thought, actually, like I was saying at the beginning, where you're like, oh no, I don't want to meditate today, and I'm stop myself and go, actually, I think you really need to meditate, and I might do a 20-minute session then. But most of the times when I've chosen a pack, I've gone for 10 minutes because I think anyone could give 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think you're just more likely to fit it into your day. And I was a bit sceptical about the recommendation of actually doing it at the start of your day. I was like, well, why not do it at some point during the day as a break to kind of hit the reset button and refresh yourself for the rest of the day. But I actually found that a lot harder, and this is one of the reasons why I was so interested in the Miracle Morning stuff when you mentioned it, Penny, was because that a big part of that was meditation and mindfulness, and I was already doing the headspace stuff and had already found it really, really beneficial. And doing it at the start of the day is definitely a wonderful way to set up your day. And I was actually started doing that before doing the Miracle Morning stuff. But like you say, bumping into the people and mentioning it and it coming up in conversation and stuff, loads of people do actually do it.
Yes.
And you just don't realise. And loads of people have actually tried Headspace, but I've never had it recommended. I'll try and remember how I came across it, but I think it might have even been like BBC Click or something on their kind of recommended apps for the day.
I do remember how it happened. So
right.
we had just delivered a session with the NHS and their communities of practice, and they had one of the people that was helping them implement was a mindfulness practitioner. So they had this really odd session of, it was odd to me at the time, of you know, like the little, is it a Buddhist bell?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like dinging that and making everyone just sit there and be mindful for 10 minutes. And I as an observer, I found it really uncomfortable. But this was quite a few years ago when mindfulness was just trying to break through into the business and leadership arena. And from that started to do a lot of research around mindfulness. Johnny did as well, and then started doing Headspace and was saying to me, you need to do this. And I was like, yeah. And he kept sending me invites. And then eventually I did. When I discovered Miracle Morning made me reinforce the need for looking at mindfulness again.
Yeah.
And I tried a different app. So whenever Johnny and I look at stuff, and you do as well, we try and look at different things and then choose as something. And Johnny's currently winning the record for recommending the things that actually work.
I know,
it's not a competition.
It isn't a competition.
No, it's
but
not.
I think it is.
You do have a knack for identifying these things.
I think Johnny's very good at cutting through the BS. Like he kind of goes like, you know, there are some people who like they have their newest thing every week and it's like, oh, this is great. Whereas Johnny's very good at like maintaining and keeping up with it and like, actually, this is really good. It's not just hype. This is actually really good. And I think the nice thing about this is that if you want to start, you can start off with it being guided and it doesn't feel like you're sitting in silence for 10 minutes, but you can build up to sitting in silence for 10 minutes.
Have you done that? See, I've not done that yet. I
really
always
like
use
that.
guided.
See, I think it does have this whole like reminiscent thing for me. I do kind of, think about back to my childhood of laid on very cold concrete floors, trying to listen. We used to do this thing where it's like, if you listen hard enough, you can hear Paris. I'll always remember that line, but it is that whole thing of just listening to what's going around you. So I quite like it. I like sitting in silence. I really struggled with it, and it amazed me the first kind of the 10 pack that I did. Those 10 times were at times so painful because I was like, this is a really long time.
I did the first 10 a number of times because I just had to keep going back to the beginning because I have got such a busy mind and I've always known that, and it took a long time for me to be able to complete the 10 pack. Like I could have cheated, I could have just like say, yeah, I've done that, but what I did do was, personally for me, what I did was make sure that I didn't move on to the next one until I had mastered the one before. And we're talking about seconds and just one or two sentences of nuance of difference, but it makes a difference and it builds up. It really is training your mind to be silent.
And as Andy talks you through it as well, he does, to the point of distraction sometimes, remind you that if your mind has wandered, that's perfectly normal, and just bringing your mind back to what you're focusing on. Yeah. Because I suppose one of the preconceptions I had about meditation was this almost like Zen style, legs folded, achieving kind of enlightenment where you're not thinking about anything and you're kind of totally in the moment, like you're kind of Eckhart Tolle kind of like you are, there is you and now, and you exist in the present and only in the present, and how like ludicrously hard
experience.
Like it is. I have actually tried it. It is really, really hard. It's not like that at all. You're always focusing on something, and it's by shifting your focus from outside of your body, listening to sounds, feeling like how your body feels as you're sort of focusing in on how your feet feel when they touch the floor and how the seat feels as you're sat on it.
Also, like other
and then
people
bringing
as
it
well.
inside.
So it's not just. I think the nice thing that Andy does is it's not just about you personally, but he's like, so what are your motivations? Think of the other people around you. Think of the other people and why you're doing this. And I think that's really good. I do think it really sets you up for the day, because you think about others, yourself, your mind, and yeah, I do realise how kind of spiritual we all sound talking about this.
Well, I think there's but massively, and I think there's when you if you look into the people that are doing it and how they use it, like I'm not a fan of all these people, but like famous meditators who probably don't really talk about it openly that much, but do it. And if you Google and search on YouTube, they do talk about it, just not openly in public. Include Oprah, Steve Jobs, Jerry Seinfeld, Jennifer Aniston, Russell Brand, Hugh Jackman, Paul McCartney. Jim Carrey's a massive fan of it. Howard Stern, the crazy American DJ host, radio host guy that did all the kind of obscure things. Yeah. He's a massive advocate of it. He meditates twice a day for 20 minutes every day and has done for 30 years.
Wow. I don't think I'm going to go to that extreme.
No, but I mean, there's that kind of focus and harnessing creativity and having that moment and time. Even those people that you would probably think would almost ridicule or make jokes about that kind of thing, it's a huge part of their lives because it is so effective.
And I do think there's a big thing about, like Penny said, about having a busy mind. Like if you have a busy mind, if you're a creative person and you think, oh my word, I couldn't stop for 10 minutes, you should be doing this, because the benefit you would get from this is amazing.
Worrying about things all the time. I've got a million things on my mind and I can't work out which one to focus on, and I've just got this busy rush of consciousness just travelling through my mind all the time, and I feel massively overwhelmed.
I can't remember.
This gives you a moment.
He prepares you for a session. I can't remember what the subject matter is, but what I do remember is the exercise, and I must use it 2-3 times a week, even whilst I'm not meditating, which is when all of this stuff is going on around you and you might be feeling a bit overwhelmed or anxious. One. Is it the SOS one where you go above the clouds?
Yeah.
No, it's one of the intro videos.
Is it?
It's one of the intro videos, and it's talking about this idea of picturing yourself when things are getting on top of you and everything seems like doomy and gloomy and overcast. Remember that whenever you get on an aeroplane, once it climbs up to 35,000 feet, the sky is always blue and the sun is always out above the clouds. Yeah. And I use that as well. It's just like, it feels like absolute shit right now. I feel awful and rubbish and there's too many things going on and I can't deal with 3 of them, let alone the 10 I actually need to deal with right now in this moment.
Yeah.
And I'm certainly not going to be able to cover them for the day. But it's just in that kind of picturing yourself going, right, it feels like this and it feels like it's coming down on top of me. But I know beyond the clouds, there's a blue sky, and you can see for miles, and the sun is out, and it's going to be okay.
What I call that a taking a moment.
Do you not find as well, like the way that he does it with a mixture of animation and video, like you can remember that. So you can't remember what pack it is, but you can remember that moment. And when things get too much, you're like, okay, back to that little kind of drop of sanity.
I think what's interesting as well is we are all users of it in very different ways and very different frequencies. So I dip in and out of it. So when I'm doing Miracle Morning, which is when I am my best self, I then do my headspace, but I do my headspace on my full Miracle Morning days. If I've only got the ability to fit in a short Miracle Morning, I'll try to fit a headspace in. Inevitably, I won't until I go to bed. But whereas Johnny's very diligent on his practice of it, and you kind of you go through phases.
I go through phases, so I tend to. I'm quite self-critical in the sense if I realise, I need to work on this or I should look at that. And particularly, I have that thing going around in my head of actually when you think you don't need it is when you need it most. So I'm always like, if I recognise that thought in my head that's like, you've no time to meditate, I'm like, right, meditate. Focus, meditate, headspace. Whereas Johnny is, I would say, again, probably a little bit more
there's
regular.
Been a couple of periods where I've not managed to fit it in, but like you say, the Miracle Morning stuff, I reckon this is the most effective part of those 6 parts of the Miracle Morning.
If you take any of the Miracle Morning, do the headspace stuff.
And you get, as with so many things on apps these days, you get a series of kind of recognition rewards, and I think I have made 90 days straight on mine.
Oh really?
Wow. Yeah, and you
I
get
was
little
doing really
rewards
well,
for it.
not
So
that well.
if you do If you do 30 days straight, they send you a little link that means you can give someone a 30-day trial for free.
Which you did for me.
Which I sent to you.
Yes.
And then making it to 90 days, you actually get 3 months free to give to someone.
Yeah. So the nice thing about the rewards as well is it's not necessarily something you use, it's something you give to someone else. So for example, Johnny had paid for a year and then he gave me 30 days free. And I think you also got a code at one point. Mm-hmm. So I ended up paying for the year, but then as I go through, I can then gift things to other people. So it's this whole like ripple effect of it spreading out. So as you commit to it, they allow you to open this out to other people, which I think is just beautiful. The idea of other people, gifting this to other people.
Also, I think the point is one, we've discovered a lot of people do actually use this. So I would also suggest to you that the price to pay isn't actually the price to pay, because you go through this process of getting, the free 30 days, but then you get offers of on the subscription. So don't pay full price, I guess, is the message there. And I think, what is the full price anyway? We'll put it in the link below, because I can't remember because
it works out.
I think I paid like 40 quid or something. I was going to say
it works out like £3 something a month.
But it's because we had our discounts and stuff that's how it worked out. But we'll put some links down for you. If you're interested in taking it on.
See, I always find it I love these sort of little badges you get as well, where it's like how long you've meditated for, and I'm sure yours is ridiculous. What you're saying, I'm saying, where it's like
Top Trump's time.
I've done like 12 hours, and I feel quite happy. I've probably had it the least amount of time now.
Just swipe right.
If you swipe across, there you go. So you've 8 hours. Oh, I have beat Penny, but Johnny's probably
I've actually done 8
hours.
I am the world's biggest butterfly.
What's your average duration? So you got an average of 12 minutes. You got an average of 9 minutes.
I've got 9 because I
must have done a lot of SOS in.
Yeah, I do SOSs, and I always choose 10-minute packs. I never go above, really, apart from
I do a lot of the walking packs. Because where I had my accident on my leg, that's the way I get through walking, is by doing the mindfulness.
So my SOS packs have definitely outnumbered my 20 minutes.
So what have you got? Oh, you've got
78. 78.
Johnny.
I've done 200.
Let's do top trumps.
Go on then.
Right, average duration.
10 minutes.
12.
9.
Woohoo! Total number of sessions 42.
78.
274.
Total time meditating.
Go on.
No, I'm just going to be like,
go on.
No.
Well, people could work it out from the information you've given them so far. So
I've done 12.
Oh, okay.
45.
Oh my
when
word.
I do it big time.
What's that? It says number of... Oh, I love that number of people meditating now.
Oh.
I've got mine on aeroplane mode. That's not going to work.
30,776.
30,987. But the other thing that's probably worth mentioning, that the third column on here, is buddies. So you can actually connect with people.
I need to add you.
And it will tell you how many days since last meditated.
It keeps you really...
And it tells you those stats. So yeah, what's your longest run streak then?
Oh, don't. 11. That's not good.
90.
Oh, really? You got your 90 badge. Well done. I got a 90 badge as well.
Not that you're competitive.
You're looking at the wrong
I'm
one.
looking at you.
Right.
You're looking at the wrong one.
Oh, am I not on there? I was like 90. I didn't.
No, look, that's your run streak there. Look, single progress sessions completed.
So you've done 30. You've got your 30 badge.
Oh,
okay.
sorry, 11. Oh, I've done 11 singles.
You've done 3
your
in a
longest
row.
run streak is 3 in a row.
Oh.
So I've done 30.
So what we were talking about was this buddies section. Because we're getting massively competitive of the top trump stats. So you can actually invite people, and the stats that we've just been through, it will tell you what the other person's doing, but it will also say how many days since they last meditated, which means that you can also send a reminder to that person to let them know that they haven't meditated. I think I might unfriend you,
Johnny.
Accountability buddies.
I know, I might unfriend you.
One of the best ways to succeed, and we're probably going to talk about this when we talk about it in the habits podcast we're doing, but buddying up with someone and having that person to bounce off is really effective way of making a commitment to people,
and
it's back to that, and it's also back to this idea of the reward and the troop and your chimp needing to connect with other people. And
if you're not sure why we've started
together.
to talk about monkeys, listen to our Chimp Paradox podcast, because then you'll suddenly realise why Johnny's brought into all these apes into this conversation.
I love monkeys.
So in the app I can invite people. Where's that happening?
Just go on buddies.
Yeah, so if you go across to your buddies and you
just
add
add
them.
people.
Oh, okay.
And you get a link as well. So I've invited loads of people. Some people have been like, what? And I've actually made people. When I went to my parents once, I made them meditate. And my mum loved it. And my dad fell asleep.
I have tried to talk my mum into trying it. And they've also just added a section where there's an actual kids version.
Yes, so I'm really excited about that.
I'm intrigued to try that one.
And that's all that just gets updated.
Don't invite me, I've got it already.
No, I'm inviting your buddy to be my buddy.
Okay, cool.
My accountability partner.
We're all getting very competitive.
Yeah, it's not a game of top trumps. It could be.
It could be though, and Johnny would have won. Until next time, because we're all going to be inspired to really meditate hard.
Yeah, good luck catching up with those 30 hours that you've got as a shortcoming there.
And,
but
it's about
us if you want to be our
accountability buddies.
Yeah, I don't know what the limit on how many buddies you can have. But
I'd love loads of people to keep me accountable.
Yeah. Walk the talk.
Yeah, exactly.
We should probably sum up here because we've got a little bit distracted by our
We have got very
stats.
distracted because we're highly competitive people. But I would suggest my sum up is it's free to download the app. You probably should do it. I mean, you're on a Android phone. We're on iPhones because we're better.
But it's Windows phone.
I almost said Windows then. But it's
no one's on
essentially
Windows.
No one's on Windows. Anyone with a phone can download this app and get 10 days for free. You don't have to put your credit card details in. Download it, have a go. Try day one. Don't worry if it's not consecutive. Just start.
And don't pay full price. And also, I think what the biggest takeouts, it might be worth recapping the benefits of doing, not necessarily Headspace, there are other apps available and other techniques, we've just found that this one works, but the benefits of doing Mindspace for each of us have been, Johnny.
Mindfulness.
Mindspace, that's a new app coming soon.
Good luck with that. I mean, the wonderful thing that I found about it is that even after the first session, I already felt as though I'd benefited from it. I didn't have to learn anything up front. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to understand anything. I literally just plugged my headphones into my phone, put them on my head, pressed start, listened to the introductory video, which is not about understanding anything. It's just reassuring you that what you're about to do, you don't really kind of need to get anything about it. Just have a go. And I had a go and I felt different. Physically, mentally, psychologically, I felt like I had room in my head, hence the name Headspace. But it was that tacit, tangible, instant feedback that I was just like, this is definitely a good
So
thing.
if there were 3 words to describe how you felt after that one, what are they?
Super smashing great.
See, I think my thing would be I'm a big fan of not paying for anything you don't have to, and I have only ever paid for a handful of apps, and this is one of them. And if someone had said start meditating, I would have been the first person to look up YouTube videos and work out how I could do it, but I know it wouldn't have been sustainable. So for me, doing Headspace and all the other tools around it, and the fact all the resources that come with it are definitely worth getting. So I am the person that doesn't want to pay for anything, and I paid for Headspace, and I'm very glad that I did, and I got a lot out of it. And so for me, even if you just start the 10 days and that's all you ever do,
you can repeat those 10 days.
You can do those 10 days.
Yeah, you can do them forever. And honestly, if that would have been enough, I am that sort of person that would have just kept doing the 10 days. I only pay for stuff that I actually see value in, and I got a lot of value out of Headspace, so I paid the full thing.
Yeah, likewise, I don't pay for things.
We sound like cheapskates. We're not cheapskates. No, we're just very sceptical.
Just access a lot of things. So if I was to buy and sign up to everything that gets recommended or that I stumble upon, I would spend a fortune. Johnny is laughing because he knows that there are some things that I do.
That's exactly what you do. I found a new app. I've bought it. Oh, I've not used it.
No, but that's like £2. It's like the 2s and the 3
Yeah, but when you do that 60 times.
Well, I've slowed down now.
Good.
So, but to spend, to actually make a considered purchase, which I think anything above, when it comes to Appland or books or anything, it's like, for me, a considered purchase is like more than 4 or 5 quid.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I am going to make a considered purchase, it's got to have something that I know that I'm going to at least get a return on that investment. And I've already got the return on the investment on, even if I had paid £100, which I wouldn't have, but if I had, I wouldn't have felt cheated with the benefits that I've got from it at the moment. So mine are the ability to focus, the ability to reset, and I manage multiple complex projects, and I I literally reset and I feel like I am absolutely in control.
She's not gone crazy yet, essentially, is what she's trying to say.
And that wasn't 3
Borderline.
words. What are your 3 words?
My 3 words are focus, control, and calm.
Focus, control, and. Fair enough.
Focus, control, calm, people.
My 3 words are happiness, excitement, and balance. Oh, there we go.
So, yeah.
Once
On that note,
Once again, a reminder, we don't get asked or paid to do these. These are based on our research, our finding, things that we
Our
actually
experience.
use.
thank you so much for listening to our podcast on meditation. This is the Throw Starfish podcast, and you can find more on the links and the blogs that we put up on throwstarfish.com, and you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Just search for Throw Starfish. I've been Ruth.
I've been Penny yet again.
And I've been Johnny. Happy headspacing.